Welcome to the International Conference on Agrarian Change. The session you're about to attend is titled Session 3B and will run from 11:15 to 1 p.m. On behalf of the organizing committee of the International Conference on Agrarian Change, I'm pleased to invite C. Veeramani to chair this session.
Good morning. Welcome to this session. This section brings together four papers that explore diverse yet interconnected dimensions of agrarian and cooperative transformation in India and beyond. So we have four papers here. The first one is titled as Broken Floor, MSP Failure in an Exclusionary and Differentiated Agrarian Structure, a tale of two villages in West Bengal. The authors are Sudipta Bhattacharyya and Tanushree Debnath. As you can see, this title itself indicates that it talks about the intersection of agricultural policy and rural political economy, the functioning and reach of minimum support price system and how it interacts with differentiated and unequal agrarian structures on the ground. So it also draws evidence from two villages in West Bengal, and we hope the paper will throw light on state price support system, how price support mechanism, how it operate or fail to operate across different groups of farmers and landlords. I invite the authors to make the presentation. It's about 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, so it's already conveyed to you my title of my paper, of our paper, and so I directly will go to the topic. Now, it's based on a primary field survey in two villages, Raipur and Chandpur of Birbhum district in West Bengal. Survey conducted between February to April 2025 among 61 sample households on the basis of simple random sampling without replacement, and we will classify it by acreage group. Now, what is important, unlike Punjab and Haryana, West Bengal has neither a historical record of providing MSP nor a legacy of a large-scale peasant movement.
Sudipta, my suggestion is that a lot of people from outside the country, just two sentences of what is an MSP?
MSP means minimum support price. The minimum support price means there is a mechanism of the government of India that the market mechanism, demand and supply interaction, if that demand supply interaction falls short of a level where the farmers cannot retain their neither profitability nor even their livelihood, then the traditional practice up to 1991 that government would intervene and purchase grains directly from farmers, and that every year CACP, Comprehensive Cost and Price Commission, and then Government of India used to announce the MSP. And then government may purchase it at the MSP level, declared MSP level, or at higher level. And, okay. Okay. Minimum support price. Okay. Then now it's very surprising, West Bengal no historic records of providing MSP nor legacy of large-scale peasant movement. Now you know West Bengal is a state which was the pioneer of the peasant movement. It had the history of Tevaga movement, along with Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, immediately after independence. And afterwards also there are many peasant movement, and out of which the first United Front government, the left and the Bangla Congress, they formed the ministry. And so that in that state of strong peasant movement, there is no peasant movement right now. This is why the magic is that the West Bengal Chief Minister, Mamata Banerjee, she expressed her support, displayed her support to the peasant movement, and she invited the peasant leaders like Tikayet or others to the Chief Minister's Secretariat and had discussion with that, and similarly with CA and NRC. But when there is even the Bharat Bandh, India Bandh for the common reason, she opposed that. She said that no bandh will be allowed, and she did not tolerate even no peasant movement. That is the very irony, and that is why at the grassroots level, that peasant movement, the left peasant movement has been weakened slowly, and neither Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress had any initiative to take any peasant movement. So it's a very, and also the MSP is a grand failure, I will come to that. Now our structure of analysis is agrarian differentiation. We examine the extent of the rural economic differentiation, and I will come to that, and through participation rate of labor and land distribution, cost, production and marketed output. I will come to that. And then we will go to inequality pattern, and then how the MSP, we will investigate the MSP implementation, minimum support price implementation. And lastly, we will throw some light on Kishan movement, that what was the farmers' response and their awareness, their solidarity about the Kishan movement. We will, Kishan movement that is going on mainly Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, Singhu border, and so on. And then this is how we summarized the agrarian differentiated structure of West Bengal. Now the net, we calculate the net labor days, labor days hired in minus labor days hired out. So it's minus 75.44 days where they hired out 80.81, more than 80%, and they hired in about 6%, so that there is a big deficit in the labor days. So net labor days is minus 75.44, and then the acreage group 1.25 to 2.5. They are the moderate. This is a transitional group. They hired in 35.33 and hired out 41.46 with family labor 47. So this is a transitional group. And the next group, they are net labor days hired out. Net labor days is 0.1 to 1 with 142 days hired in and hired out 20.83. And lastly, 5.5 to 10 acres, we can call them capitalist farmer. They do not hired out, and they hired in entirely. They hired out 414 days of labor. Now, about the inverse relationship, that we found an inverse relationship between participation rate. Now, what is the participation rate? Participation rate is workers in a family by members. So we calculate in a acreage group total workers divided by total members, and so that into 100. Now there was the A.V. Chayanov, he theorized that in the Russian context in 1920s, that the with the peasantry was a homogeneous entity, and with the rise, with the family size, that determines the farm size, and that determines further agrarian differentiation. He named it demographic differentiation. And so that with the rise in the family members through reproduction, with the birth of children, so with the rise of family size, the family would buy more of land, and so that the farm size and family size and the participation rate are directly proportional. So as the participation rate is a rate which is opposite to family's welfare. Participation rate means I have to work in the field, I curtail my leisure, my children should not go to school, but they should participate in the cultivation. So the participation rate is opposite to welfare, family welfare. So Chayanov thought that the higher the farm sizes, family sizes, the distress of the family would increase, and then there would be the rise in the participation rate. But we found it just opposite. We found the inverse relationship. But that means higher farm sizes, they are not in a distressed condition, as we saw that. They are actually the capitalist farmer and the big farmers. So they are in a very well-off position, and the participation is higher, very high for the lower farm sizes. So economic welfare increases with the rise in the farm size. So that is the scheme of differentiation, and this is the land structure. Land structure. So marginal farmer 0.1 to 2.5 acres. They operate only 10.5 acres of land, 13.79, and average acre is 0.8. Now the top farmer 31.59, household operate 34.37, average 6.97 acres. So the 40.07 self-operated. Now I have shown in another survey, another studies, after the liberalization policy, there is a change. Even the participation rate for the inverse relationship is still retained. But participation rate for the large farmer also increases after the differentiation in comparison to their earlier status before 1991. So though the inverse relationship is still there, but they are also not, they are 40.07 self-operated. So they are not in a good position, and you find the reflection in the Kishan movement, where for the first time the agricultural labor farms, the small farms and large farms, they came in the single movement against the demand for legal MSP. I will come to that. And so that the cost of production also we found a differentiated structure, that is 28,357 for the per acre almond and 38,037 for large farm. And potato also we found that per acre production 59,475, and so there is a big gap. And production per holding I think is a great explosion. Total production for the lowest farm size is 64,000, like that, and for the large farm it's 5,11,000, almost 12,000. So big jump, and the per acre cost also increases. And because of the large farms are more intensively in irrigation, invest in irrigation, fertilizer, mechanization. And here there is a, if you see the production and productivity, Amartya Sen, he, in 1960s, he theorized that the small farms are all the family farms and large farms are capitalist farms, and so that the small farms are efficient and their productivity is, and production and productivity is much higher. Our survey contradicts that Sen, and Sen also borrowed his idea somehow from Chayanov that time. And there is a great debate between Amartya Sen and Utsa Patnaik, 1979 Utsa Patnaik's article in Neopopulism and Marxism. And the marketed product we find a very peculiar trend. The smallest farm, their percentage is 76%. And particularly the paddy, and the highest farms, they are also, the marketed product is 90%. But the reasons are diametrically opposite. They are distress sellers. They are distress sellers of grain. So immediately after harvest, that was first theorized by Professor Amit Bhaduri, that immediately after harvest, they had to sell their grains at the field itself to the middleman. And since they have no storage capacity, they are already indebted. So in order to meet debt and in order to meet their consumption and to purchase inputs, and they don't have any storage capacity. On the other hand, the capitalist farmers, they have the storage capacity, they have bargaining power, they can store the grain, and they can sell the marketed product not immediately after harvest, but over time, in due course of time, at the high rate of profit. So we will see that. And now this is the Lorenz curve. We found that Lorenz curve is highest for the owned land, and then followed by the marketed output, marketed surplus, and the operated land, it's somehow lower, and production is found that it's among them, production showed here among the lowest asset the inequality. The small farmers contribute significantly to output relative to land share, yet face greatest asset disadvantage, highlights the structure of exclusion despite production contribution. So MSP policy evaluation, that is a history. You know, for 1991, pre-1991, as I have already said that the government used to collect grain, and they used to sell grain at the subsidized rate from the issue price, which is say issue price through ration price shop. And there was and 1991 government lifted the fertilizer subsidy, food subsidy, and they jumped from universal PDS before 1991 to targeted PDS, which is restricted to BPL system. And Professor Madhura Shaminathan is there. She had a very, I think, the good paper, thought-provoking paper, that she unfurls the joke and farce of the targeted BPL system. And then government, out of all this pressure of this critic, government set up a 2000s a Sen committee, and Sen recommended MSP at C2 cost in efficient region. And ultimately, Shaminathan Commission, all you know, Shaminathan Commission report 2004-5, C2 plus 50%. No government, neither UPA who set up the Shaminathan Commission, nor forget about the NDA government, no government implemented MSP, and now the Kishans, they are on street and they are in an endless battle. So, and the battle going on. And so, the MSP in West Bengal, the state government procures only paddy, number one. Now, what they purchase, that is they used to sell through NAFSA, midday meal, ICDS, etc., etc. And for that, they had to register their name under Kishan Bandhu card to obtain the Kishan Bandhu card. Now, what is the reality? The lowest farm size, they have the zero government procurement. They do not sell any output to government, and 88 to 93% they sold to private traders. So they are totally excluded from this system. And on the other hand, large farmers also sell only 5.8% to government and 70% to private traders, and only the middle farmers, 2.5, they sell some amount, 44% to the government centers. Now, the overall failure, only MSP, at MSP 16% being sold. The reason is that there are many barriers to sell in the MSP. Now, first of all, there is a quota, 30 quintal quota, beyond which government do not accept. And there is a credit dependency for the small farmers, and so they have to sell to their Mahajans. And high transaction cost of there is a transportation problem, loading and unloading cost, extra packaging cost demanded by the government agency. And so there is a restrictive term. I finish by 30 seconds. And so eligibility barrier to get Kishan Bandhu card, you have to get the owned land, and there is a political middleman also, they have influence on their. Now this is the various case studies why they do not sell to the MSP. And my last slide, now 78% of farmers, they are aware of the Kishan movement, but more than that, about 93% they understand and support the legal MSP. Though they under the present political regime, they do not have any avenues to come in the street. Now they support the farmers' demand for legal MSP. 36% of them reported to escape that. They will able to escape the price volatility. 22.8% reduce the exploitation by buyers. 14% reduce corruption by the government official. 16% secure farmers' interest, and 10% create their bargaining power. So that's all. And above all, the big farmers have the bargaining power. So when they sell to private traders, they sell at a higher price. They can bargain with the private traders. But the small farmers, they generally used to sell at the field, at the distress, they are distress, at the distress rate, very low price. So that is the difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So based on the survey, household survey in West Bengal, it talks about very interesting patterns and also compares with some of the earlier findings. So it's interesting, and also the barriers that farmers are facing in the MSP regime. So we'll go to the next paper now, and we'll come to a question answer session later. The second paper is on Kudumbashree and efforts in the other of India. As we know, the Kudumbashree movement in Kerala is widely recognized for its success in building women's collectives that engage in microfinance and livelihood activities. So this paper looks into this, and we'll invite the speaker to make the presentation.
So, good morning, everybody. My name is Vijesh Krishna, an agriculture economist by training, working in International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, Hyderabad. So, As we have seen earlier today in the plenary session, Ram Kumar indicated that India gives only 0.4% of its agricultural GDP to agricultural research. If you are taking in the entire figure, we are spending around 10,000 crores of rupees every year on agricultural research. However, it is not enough. And the other aspect is that when we are spending so much on technologies, very small amount is spent on how to disseminate the technologies to farmers. And the innovations are very limited. As a result, we have wonderful varieties, but we don't know how to make these varieties reach to the neediest, the most marginalized very quickly. There's hardly any innovations. So women's self-help groups, like we are seeing here, Kudumbasri in Kerala, whether we can use these institutions to promote agricultural innovations, agricultural productions in India. The title given in that program is slightly different. Some words are missing. We have done a comparative evaluation of Kudumbasri with Jivika in Bihar and the self-help groups in Morocco, the Northern Africa. So what are the cross-learning that we can make out of that one? But I am just focusing here on Kudumbasri and how Kudumbasri's evolution happened to whether we can use Kudumbasri, I use the word use Kudumbasri, for agrarian transformation in India. So there is a vibrant discussion going on feminization of Indian agriculture. Feminization happens in various developing countries in Africa, Latin America, as well as in Asia. And women constitute about 42% of the workforce in agriculture as compared to 33% in 2001. And when the number of men and women engaged in agriculture are going down over time because of the structural changes, the rate of reduction for women is comparatively slower. There are many factors associated with that one. The male out migration and female are stuck with the family to take care of their kids, elder one, etc. There are many anti-norms, etc. But that is happening. But what we have observed that when women are taking up more and more activities, their role has not changed much in many areas from labor provision to managerial duties. Many times, when the commodity has to be sold, when the wheat or maize has to be traded, then men will appear from the urban areas and they will take care of the marketing aspects and taking care of money. When women were actually taking care of all their activities from sowing to post-harvest. So we call it as more like labor feminization than managerial feminization, and it may have different implications in India on women's empowerment, agricultural production, etc., etc. So far in our studies in Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, we have observed that this feminization has not resulted in increased empowerment. One exception is women's self-help groups. Many times we have observed that when women are participating in these self-help groups like Jivika in Bihar, Mission Shakti in Odisha, or Kudumbasri in Kerala, the pattern of empowerment changes. So the question is that why does feminization not translate into agriculture? Why can't we translate into agriculture transformation? So Kudumbasri is the self-help group movement, which was started in 1998. Now with over 4.5 million women organized into neighborhood groups. But it is whether we can use the women self-help groups for agrarian transformation. There are certain limitations, certain constraints. Many times the thing is that most of the women who are part of Kudumbasri are working in informal or leased on land, where the land in Kerala is highly fragmented with less than 0.2 hectare per family, and so many times they have to combine land holding together. And less than 20, in Kerala, 19% of the landholders are women, and the landholding size is also relatively small, even as compared to rest of India. And many times land ownership continued to mediate the legitimacy within and outside both family decision-making and institutional recognition. What we have observed as part of our field study that there is a triple exposure. That means there are triple constraints that are acting together, constraining women collectives working in Kerala. One is climate factors, which is universal, we cannot control to a great extent. Then market pressures, especially thin markets and seasonal markets, and more importantly, institutional fatigue. A small introduction about Kudumbasri. Kudumbasri has been launched in 1998. It was inaugurated by Atal Bihari Vajpayee and at the time of E.K. Nayanar's ministry in Kerala. So it operates through three tier structures. Below there is neighborhood groups with some dozens of women, and then area development societies and community development societies. At present, there are 44.5 million women in Kerala are organized, and there are around 300,000 joint liability groups. They are managing small processing firms or agricultural activities together, engaged in microfinance, service, and collective farming. Collective farming was part of Kudumbasri from 2008, and it has been taken up. But what we have observed that there is a significant caste angle for whether women are participating in collective farming versus the microfinancing, though usually less marginalized women are mostly participating in the within-house activities like microprocessing, whereas the marginalized caste women, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe women, they are mostly involved in the collective farming and outside house activities. There are many norms associated with that one. And the nature of activities that women participate as part of Kudumbasri is huge, from collective farming, microfinance, microprocessing, and tailoring shops, agriculture, non-agriculture. There's a huge array of activities that they are taking up. And why some people, this is interesting to know why some women are participating in some type of activities, but which is beyond this particular scope of this particular research, so I'm moving on. This study has two aspects: how these different constraints like climate variability, market risk, and the institutional fatigue affect the functioning of Kudumbasri units, how they cope up over time. And second is that how we can transform Kudumbasri units to enable to function as engines of agrarian development in Kerala. So we postulate that these are hidden engines, hidden potential that nobody has recognized that much. How to transform Kerala's agriculture to more productive one, more profitable one through women's self-help groups. So we have undertaken this project as part of CGER project assigned to us a couple of years back, which we titled as Learning in Tandem. The objective was that study the self-help group movement in India and compare that with the MENA region, Middle Eastern and Northern African region, to give what are the cross-cultural, cross-country learnings that we can bring. So we started with Bihar, which was actually center of Simit's work and involvement. But unfortunately, we didn't get institutional support or permission to work there. So we came to Kerala, where we got it, and so that's why we have done that particular work in Kerala. And but we got some primary data collected from Bihar, so we can use that also. And we compared that with the Moroccan case, like Kimiset, where SHGs are very active in argan oil production, couscous production, etc., etc. So what are those, and how we can get cross-country learnings? So as part of this one, we have conducted 52 focus group discussions among Kudumbasri members of Trivandrum and Malappuram districts of Kerala. in addition to that, we had conducted 360 face-to-face interviews in Malappuram region, where we found that the institutional societies are much more interesting, and people are more eager to participate than urban-driven, semi-urban driven from SHGs. In addition to that, 1,200 face-to-face household surveys were conducted in Bihar. 30 FGDs and 250 household surveys were conducted in Morocco. So, the triple exposure that we have observed, that was not our theory or something that we came up with, but through the analysis of data that obtained from FGDs, that what are the major constraints that SHGs were facing in agriculture. So agriculture or processing, they have indicated that they have to come a long way on how to become more resilient. It is very fascinating to hear their stories. It is like each of these SHGs are having mini adaptation stories they are having, the small ones, saying that how they have shifted from one crop to the next to find market, to get rid of drought or excessive rainfall, especially excessive rainfall. So we got 52 wonderful cases, and then we are slowly analyzing them. So these are some of these stories that people told us, and we have removed the names and all those things for the research ethics. First one says that that's marigold cultivation in Malappuram. They're saying there is severe water scarcity during summer has caused us wilting and reduced flowering, while persistent rains have resulted in significantly more yield loss. And that's one of the examples for climate-related one. And the second one related to market is that the supply co actually procure our products, but we have to wait a long time for getting the money back. So that prevents us to invest again in the next crop, and that's one of the major marketing problem. The third one is that we get subsidy, but it takes months to realize that one. At that time, the season is already gone. So these different type of, these are just examples, but they are very, very prevalent one compared to that one. So just to indicate that one, there are climate factors. What is different here? Climate factors affect agriculture, and the story is nothing new. However, what is relevant here is that how women self-help groups emerged as a small adaptation, systems. They each have their own stories. If you are going to an SHG which is working for last 20 years, you can get excellent stories on how they adapted to climate change, how they have shifted from crop to another one, how the governing structure, leadership has changed over time, etc. They say that often the formal structure, that's Krishi Bhavan, they are very reactive, but reactive after a delay. It's not when there is a crop loss happens, the system does not immediately react to help them, but it takes a couple of months at least, and so that the help comes from within. The potential, the skills of the people who are working in Kudumbasri have emerged, and now they are thinking that they can handle the situation themselves. And many times they feel that they are getting used to the new approaches like YouTube videos, WhatsApp messaging, and all those things where they can actually get help from peers more quickly than depending on the formal system. Coming to the marketing constraints, many times the type of society that is involved in marketing of agricultural produce, that's after processing that one. One unique thing that I have found here is that there is, I would say, not lack of imagination in the products that they are selling. And many times they just go with the same type of processing the spices and then making the rice flour and selling it, not investing a lot on the unique products that they can sell. It's not that they can't, but there is some sort of limitation that we have to stick to the pickle every time, pickles, sauce, or spice products, then going something different. That when we asked the question, because we had done this particular survey in Morocco also, and we found that the products that SHGs are developing there, Kimset province, they are getting very high profit, and women are relatively much well off, richer by selling that very unique products that they only can sell. And here the product is more homogeneous or more, we can get that from any private sector or many supermarket. So one example they indicated, they are willing to do that. One example they are telling that in Kozhikode area there is something called Thoramanga. That's mango which is cut in half, and then that will be cured with the spices and salt. But that is not available in southern part of Kerala. And if they have indicated if there is any provision there, we can get that product from north to south and sell it. But there is no market arrangements, and 5 women or 6 women cannot do that one. So what we need there is actually bit more organized marketing structure from government side. Again, this is not new or novel, so there's a complex bureaucracy actually slows access to schemes and subsidies, and I should say that compared to Bihar, the system is much better because after a delay, things happen here, but the delay is a problem here. Many times they have to wait sometimes to get machinery, subsidized machinery of 1 year or a few months, at least 6-7 months, and that is often considered as a big challenge to run the operations proper time. But we have observed that these exposures, that different type of exposures, do not act together, act alone. They create a cascading effect. Somebody in vegetable collective in Malappuram told that when rains destroy crops, prices fall, and often officers delay our payments. But we still continue because the group gives us strength. There are a lot of success stories, and one of the reasons that I am telling success stories is that I went to the functioning SHGs, and I didn't go to that failed SHGs because it was very difficult. We tried that, recently failed SHGs, why they failed and all those things, but it's very difficult to put those women into a group because many times internal conflicts was the reason for the failure, and they were not willing to participate in FGD together. So our findings are based on the success stories. Here the only thing is that, okay, more and more women identify food processing as a very great enterprise than food production, because this gives some more social status for women not to go out and work, but sit in a house, somebody's house, and work, and there's machine available for them. So again, there's a strong caste angle. The marginalized women are the ones who are mainly going for the outside activities, and the non-marginalized women are sitting inside the house like with a roof and all those things. So there's significant, we could find that there's a significant caste angle. I'll just skip these things. So the major issues that women we observed during the FJDs, one is that land issue still remains a big problem, that they have to take the land for leasing, and many times they have to deal with the people who are men and then talk about the lease agreement and all those things. That is very problematic, and they expect some sort of institutional mediation in between to get this land on proper terms and conditions. Then the other big problem is institutional silos and fragmented accountability. There's one fellow indicated that somewhere that we get seats from one agency, we get technical expertise over the finance from other agency, and we get information from none. And we have to go from door to door, and there is no single arrangement or institutional arrangement for for connecting everything together that women need. Then just a brief thing before stopping that, comparing between the collectives in Kerala as well as Morocco. As I indicated earlier, that Kerala, the structure of, there's an organization of SHGs are very strong. The wide participation, modest profit, but there's wider, because women know that whom to approach if something is going wrong. There's an institution, and there's a ground level, there's flexibility to change members, etc. In Morocco, it is less organized, very self-motivated women going in groups, but they are capturing high-value products and then narrow participation, very unique. That is approachable, it's saleable from that particular province, attracting tourists and getting very high amount of money. So I think that we often find that women are having very entrepreneur, they have a lot of good imagination, but they are actually missing, what they are missing is some agency which can connect them to produce or market in different ways than now they are going to fairs and they are selling themselves. Instead of that, and somebody can mediate this activity and get products and get good amount for their unique product that they are selling. That imagination is missing. And finally, before starting, this project was done with the help of Kerala Agriculture University students. These are interns who came to CIMIT for 2 months internship program. And so they were the one who were working on this issue. They were the one who went to the field, and we have done papers with them. So 3 papers came out with them, and these are summary of them. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for that interesting presentation. It talks about the triple barriers that Kudumbashree is facing, a woman facing: climate-related, market pressure, institutional barriers, and also it talks about how to use Kudumbashree as a mechanism for agrarian transformation, with also using some interesting comparative perspective from Kerala, Bihar, and Morocco. So we'll go to the next paper, which is again another cooperative, the very famous Veeramani Labor Contract Cooperative Society. It's often regarded as one of India's most successful worker cooperatives, known for its efficiency, transparency, and social orientation. We'll learn more about ULCCS in the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kishore. I'm representing one of the oldest cooperative movement and workers movement. So why I mentioned that Veeramani is a labor cooperative, but in our friends from Liga Coop arrived here, so they call labor cooperatives a workers cooperative. So that's why I mentioned that. And so I'll start with the origin of ULCCS. Actually, we started 100 years back for creating jobs for the people who tired to fight with the casteism and the feudalism. And they have got a supporter, a guide, a mentor, Guru Vagbhadananda. And with the help of Guru Vagbhadananda, they created 3 organizations. One is a bank, cooperative bank. The other one is a LP school for lower primary school, for education, and the last one, and Veeramani Labor Contract Cooperative Society. They started with 36 paise, below $1, and 1/10 of a euro, and today the turnover crossed 2,500. And they started with 14 people. Their literacy rate was almost 0. And their kids now working as professionals at ULCCS. Now, our position, ULCCS is one of the second largest primary workers cooperative in the world, just below Montagon. And what is the contest? So we are discussing about the agrarian area, but we are coming and we are supporting that people who work for agriculture, and they want actually the area, you know, the Kerala situation. So the land for agriculture land is very less. They want a job, and the social change happened in the Kerala. So and the early of this century or the last decades of the century, and the joint family system collapsed, and now we are living in a nuclear family system. And at that time the queue for the blue collar jobs, today the queue for the white collar jobs. So that the situation, understanding that situation, we moved forward, and we have created so many things. I'll explain. And what is inspired and what is the uniqueness of ULCCS? So see, you can talk any person at ULCCS. They are happy. They are passionate to work. They follow the timeline and the standards, and they never lose their timeline. So that is why Government of Kerala or Government of India or the other National Institute invites ULCCS for creating their buildings, roads, and infrastructure. So, see, this is the certificate issued by British government in 1925. This is our registration certificate, 13th February 1925. So, we started with 14 people. Today we have 18,000 people. Why ULCCS called one of the best model for Indian cooperative movement? So a primary cooperative diversified into various areas. IT. In infrastructure, we started with a small cooperative that created kacha roads, the small village roads and fishermen sheds in 100 years back. Today, we are working with National Highway Authority of India. See, in Kerala, there are 22 packages of 65 crores of rupees NHI spending here under Bharatmala project. There are 22 packages. Out of 22 packages, only one package, the work has been completed and handed over to NHI, National Authority of India, for public usage. That created by a labor cooperative, a worker cooperative, that is ULCCS. That is 39 kilometers connecting Karnataka and Kerala, 6-lane road with both sides 2-lane service road. And the Government of India appreciated, given Best Performer Award last year. And one more thing, we are discussing about the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Out of 17 goals, ULCCS achieved 14 Sustainable Development Goals. And why ULCCS a worker-centric organization? And all are, I can call a worker in our organization a professional. Once I met one of the senior IAS officer, he invited me for a financial discussion. After that, he asked me, your Uralangil is a professional team. You are building roads or infrastructures like Europeans doing. Why this happened? Then I explained, sir, while I am doing my schooling, my friends, they parallelly started vocational training. They started breaking big boulders to small ones, aggregates. They started creating small roads, small buildings. So that they, after completing my post-graduation, they become good workers. They created marvelous building, marvelous roads, marvelous infrastructure. But I have only know about the theory. So that is the professionalism created by ULCCS. And we are giving dividend, 10%, bonus, 20% twice a year, provident fund, employee state insurance, bonus, gratuity, industry loans, and marriage for helping their members for their kids' marriage, education loan without any interest, and medical support. We have a medical team only for supporting our members and their families. And ethical management. So that is the prime thing at ULCCS. So ethical, honest people. If you anybody from ULCCS giving a promise, so that will be done. And we follow democratic way. Every 5 years there is an election. Directors, the workers, the only worker members, and every member, they have to work wholeheartedly without any other works. So they are the full-time members. And the directors also full-time directors. Suppose you compare with the other cooperative movement. So in the packs and other things, the directors will join or will present only in the board of directors meet. But ULC says the directors has to work minimum 18 hours in a day. So that is the main difference from the other cooperatives to ULCCS. And what makes ULCCS unique? Collective ownership. And every day we discuss. Now the newer IT companies follow agile project management. And last 100 years, ULCCS start discussing each and every project in the evening with the whole team members, the representative whole team members, the worker, the engineers, the leaders, the directors, sit together, evaluate that day's work and what was happened that day. So take the good things and what are the negative things happen, erase it and start a new day from next day onwards. Cooperation among cooperatives. So now we are saying that cooperation among cooperative. You have any experience? Yes. After visiting Liga Coop in 2015 and Mondragon, we understand there is a way to solve something. And at that time, we got a project in Calicut, development of 6 roads. And now the government of Kerala sending the foreign visitors to that road, showing this is Kerala model road. And how we create that road. And at that time, we quoted 693 crores for that project. And the second one, L2, they quoted 1,285 ILNFS. So, due to the presence of a cooperative, a worker cooperative, government saved almost 600 rupees during the tender itself. And normally, we depend Nationalist Bank for getting huge fund for the project. At that time, after getting the energy from Europe, we approached the district bank manager, general manager, and the chairman of Calicut District Cooperative Bank and asked, can we go for a consortium of primary cooperatives? Yes, we can try. 31 primary cooperatives come and they contributed 5 crores, 6 crores, 2 crores, 1 crores to that project. And within 14 days, we closed that financial side and started the work and completed. Before time, we got 26 crores as bonus. We shared that amount among the primary cooperatives. And who deposit the money to the primary cooperatives? Small farmers, vendors. So they deposit or they giving 100 or 200 rupees every day or in a week. That accumulates huge fund. And the farmers, the nominal workers, they contributed for the regional development. That is the beauty of cooperation among cooperative, upholding the cooperative values. So actually he mentioned the, Veeramani sir mentioned, and benefits. So we invest everything to our people. So this is workers' movement. So that I explained the last slide. Creation and distribution of wealth. I'll show you how and why we created wealth and how we shared that wealth, surplus wealth for the community. And quality and time. ULCCS only USP. If you give a project to ULCCS, then you forget everything. They'll manage everything. And modernization. See, we started with creating small kacha roads, small village roads. And 30 years back, our present chairman started mechanization. He brought 16 trucks at a time. That automation. Initially we mixed aggregate cement sand for concrete with manually. Today, automated. And that creates more job. At that time, we have only 200 members. Today, we have 18,000 people. And digitization. 2016, you know, the digitization, the demonetization happened. And most of the cooperatives shaked, but nothing happened to ULCCs. Why? I'll show you later. And execution without subcontracting. Why we create this cooperative? For us, for our people, for developing, strengthening, empowering the people. And what is the key success? Workers' ownership, unwavering commitment to the quality. That you have to underline. I have to underline it. Unwavering commitment to the quality. Skill development, in-house training. So that is why ULCs is growing. So every day we understand there are some gap. Suppose you compare with, we are compete with Adani. Who is Adani? You just erase that name. Adani, they have money, they have muscle power, they have manpower, they have technology. So that is why we understood that we have to create quality, skill, people to that strengthen our organization. Adopt technology, and so through the agile project management system, we can read every day. That is skill development. And we created Indian Institute of Infrastructure and Construction in association with Government of Kerala for developing, creating, and minimize the gap between the academia and industry. So, and providing courses, 3-level courses, technician courses, supervisory courses, and managerial courses. And strategic diversification from making small roads to bigger roads. And from illiterate people, they started India's world's first cooperative special economic zone in IT and ITS. And technology integration. So, in Kerala, we have so many local self-government institutions. Most of them, their property tax management and other management thing, planning, also converted or upgraded by ULCs using GIS mapping. And rooted social responsibility. So last year, July, we experienced one of the devastated landslide in Wayanad. So that was happened in the midnight, after 1 o'clock, yes. 1 o'clock, the first, before police came, before fire force came, the Veeramani team came there with 4 trucks, with 1 generator, other equipments and food. And we helped government, we helped public, forefront and back end also. Forefront you have seen through the videos, through the news, and back end with using technology. We segmented in 5 zones and helped the government, helped the people for immediate disaster management. So I'll go quick. So this is the diversification. I'll show you some, and I think covered. And this is Cyber Park. This is a green building. This is the 2nd largest green building in Kerala. And this is developed by illiterate people. They started 100 years back. These illiterate people, they understood what is happening in the world. And this is technology. We have one vertical, UL technology solution. This is material testing lab. This is one of the largest sophisticated material testing lab in South India. And this is our craft village. I'll tell you the story. We have 2 craft villages. See this craft village? See this picture? It's an abandoned granite quarry. Abandoned granite quarry we converted for artisan community. That what is the normal practice of artisans? So they'll make something. They'll sell evening. They'll sell. And the evening, that money goes directly to the liquor shop. And who? And the people, the family, They are waiting for something. He'll bring some food. No, nothing happened. Today, they have dreams. They have dreams. Their kids are studying for professional education. They are competing with the international, they are attending international exhibitions. And Government of India recognized this is the best rural tourism project 2017. And what is the story? Converted wasteland to artisan community for their development. Then we connected that to tourism. Now this is a, and we trained, this is a 20 acres land, and we trained 1,200 people of that revenue village. Now that revenue village, Iringal is called as the craft village, Sargalia craft village. So, and that helped the local community get more and more jobs. And this is also a craft village, this is in Trivandrum. Nearby, just opposite that highway, that is also a granite quarry. You please visit there if you have time. And this is Indian Institute of Infrastructure, I mentioned it. And this is for our senior people. So they have given so many things. With using their experience, we create all these things. So we are giving back. I visited one of the senior citizens cooperative in Italy. That is a 7-star facility, senior citizen home. With getting that energy, we decided to build something here. With the help of XIMB, Sovereign Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar, we invited 2 students from them, and we made a research, and we got 615 samples. Out of that, with that report, we created a new building with old-fashioned. And actually, we have given everything, but their happiness, average. Suppose you take 1 to 10 scale, their happiness was average. Then we thought, why this happening? Then we called the students nearby, school students, and connected the new generation and old generation. After that, we checked again the happiness, and the happiness is 9.5 out of 10. And this is our apartment projects. And towards the future, are you ready? Yes. Only 1 minute. Okay. Are you ready? Yes. We are ready. See? Speed. That is the, we are using mobile. Why we use mobile? Can we go for the old-fashioned phone? No. Why? We need speed, smart, and sustainable. So that is why we created our new vertical, U-Sphere, for pre-engineered building, precast building. So we are, suppose the conventional track, so we can create only building of 5 lakh square feet, 30 to 36 months. Now we are ready to give it 12 to 15 months. And so last 100 years, we gained a lot of experience. We are ready to give our experience through our UL Insight. So I'll skip. Resilience I mentioned. And these are the 3 models, UL Cyber Park. So what is the issue of cooperatives in India? No youngsters. No youngsters. We boast that 66% of the our population is young. So suppose you take the same picture to our cooperative movement, no. It is not reflecting there. So that is why inviting, creating spaces for youngsters, this is UL Cyber Park. And Indian Institute of Infrastructure and Construction, so you are only creating for youngsters? No. So we are embracing the people, artisan community. So they deserve our support. So we created Sargalia and Kovalam Craft Village. And this is scalable? Yes. And replicable? Yes. And where might this work? Developing countries. And what is the lesson? I think you got that lesson. And this is my closing thought. You please read it. My time is over. Thank you.
Thank you, Kishore Kumar, for that interesting presentation about a unique model of cooperatives in Kerala, operating in Kerala. So the next paper, that is the final, is on agri-food sector in Lega Coop by Rita Gedeni and Simona Caselli. Yes.
Thank you very much for having me and Rita here in this fantastic conference. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be with you today. I'm Simona Caselli. I'm president of the bigger dairy cooperative in Italy and head of EU affairs of Lega Coop Agroalimentare, which is the agri-food sector of cooperatives in Italy, so I'm representing them in front of the EU institutions. Rita Ghedini is president of Lega Coop Bologna. She is to intervene tomorrow in another section. The presentation is here. I will try and keep the energy, the cooperative energy of the previous speaker. This is the structure of the paper, so I don't go into everything of it. Of course, then you can read the paper, but this is the structure. We present what is Lega Coop, because I suppose not everyone here knows us, and our key challenges and some cooperative best practices. If you want to look at a short video, you can find that. Now, I don't have the time, but this is the whole organization, all sectors. You can see here, there is a 4-minute video we prepare for the International Year of Cooperatives. This is us in the agri-food sector. So now you can see all the sectors. Consider meat in Italy is to be intended cured meat. We don't do fresh meat. So we are doing hams and all these high value products. All the other sectors you can read on the table. I only consider the grand total. We have more than 1,100 companies, cooperative companies. Our turnover is 11 billion euros, and we have 25,000 workers and almost 200,000 members in our cooperative movement. Consider this cooperative movement was created almost entirely after the Second World War, because the fascists burned out cooperative to the ground. Physically also. So we have to rebuild everything because our cooperative movement began at the end of 19th century, but there was this terrible period from which we had to rebuild almost everything. And this is the pattern I will follow, considering 80 years of transformation, the historical evolution, the contemporary strategy, policy framework, which was very important and enabling for us, and financial instruments that are all also very important. And in the Nigerian presentation this morning, it was very clear this. If you don't have finance, it's difficult to do everything. Why it is essential for Italian agriculture having cooperatives? Because we have a small farm size of average 15 hectares. This means 37 acres. So I know for you this seems quite a strange statement, but I will assure you that this at the European level is very small. Considering in Germany the average is 30, in France is 30 hectares, so we are below this. And in our region, Emilia-Romagna, half of the farmers are below 5 hectares. We still is 12 acres, but it is really small for us. So this fragmented land ownership is an obstacle to go into the market, to the banks, and also, in particular, for innovation and digital transformation now. So we need economy of scale, we need cooperatives. Cooperatives now, as you can see, represent 35% of dairy processing, 50% of wine production, and 35% of fruit and veg in Italy. So we are really big. and important for the system. We have two major federations, ours, Lega Coop, that is from the socialist labor movement tradition, and Cooperative, that is from the Catholic social doctrine. We are value developing in some regions, but all the thing, as I told you, began here, after the Second World War. Considering that Emilia-Romagna, our region, which is now the first or the second richest region in Europe, depending, we have this kind of sprint with Baden-Württemberg, but you know, we were the poorest region in Italy after the Second World War. When you say this to an Italian, he doesn't believe you, but this book that I provided to the professor, and this copy I will leave it for your library. This is Italy, the red part is Emilia-Romagna, as you can see, and this book has also the picture of how poor we were, and our cooperative were absolutely central in taking up all and improving the life of our citizens. So there was devastation, inequality, millions of landless laborers. Now we have some cooperatives made by laborers that could buy their own land. This was the kind of empowerment they could have from the cooperative. We had sharecroppers in total poverty. With land reforms that create these small proprietors, with the social movement of emancipation, which was absolutely necessary because you need a cultural idea behind, and also with the work of Catholic organization, mainly in other regions than Emilia-Romagna, because we are quite leftist, and so. The idea was combating rural poverty through collective action. And that's what they did. I wasn't born yet, but they did it. And the cooperative function you see there are still modern, are still the cooperative, the function we have today in another environment, of course, but we are still there. The success story of Emilia-Romagna that comes from this book from Giuliana Bertagnoni was particularly successful because there was a strong regional culture of association, staying together, do things together. Together we are better than one, so it's another culture. Effective regional support policy, this is very important. I had the honor to be Minister of Agriculture for 5 years in Emilia-Romagna. I know what this means in talking with people and building with them all the policies. High social capital and trust, investment in education and training, which is absolutely central, and integration, agriculture, food processing, machinery. You have always to look at the value chain, because the more the cooperative cover the entire value chain, the better for members and for their revenues. This is the key factor. You cannot do only commodity. If you do commodity, you're dead. You have to develop the value chain, and all the value you can keep from the value chain goes to the members, and this makes the difference. The success example are the famous Parmigiano Reggiano. These are a key brand, cheese, which is sometimes I said the king of cheese, I don't know, but it's a very good one. Wine cooperative, fruit, vegetable, meat processing. The modernization came in 60, 80 period, and this was a process of merging, cooperative merging together in order to be bigger. When merging and being bigger, you can also buy some private company and be bigger as a cooperative. So this has been a very important process that happened in that period that brought us to the figures you saw at the beginning of the presentation. And there we founded the second degree cooperative, the consortia, which are very important, as the previous speaker told you, and investment in processing and value addition, because as this idea of the value chain and build more value for our members is important. and many modern facilities, cheese factories, cold storage, fermentation equipment, and so on. Then, in that period, there was the impact of the Common Agricultural Policy that is still now the most important policy we have. All agricultural laws are at European level. We don't have any Italian laws. We have some, but are marginal. The point is the Common Agricultural Policy, and that's why I work with Europe, because it's there, the decision making. And quality strategy emerged. This is the geographical indication brands, and these are coming from a European reglement. We began even before the European reglement that has 33 years. We began 40 years ago, probably, developing these high-quality productions and staying away from the generic products and go to high-quality production, because that's the one that gives you the value added. So now, from 80 to 2000, we had to adapt to market changes. There was the international competition, market liberalization, growing power of retail chains. We are quite lucky in Italy because the most important retail chains are cooperative, them also. One is a consumer cooperative and the other is a retailer cooperative. But, you know, when we have to do contracts, it's a tough situation. But anyway, the concentration of buying power is a fact, and we had to react by being more, staying together even more in the sector. And the strategic responses were consolidation, to continue growing as a cooperative or merging, quality assurance, traceability, certification, working on quality, not on quantity, brand development, loyalty of consumer. Consumers have faith in cooperatives. Diversification, agritourism, direct sales, organic, of course. We are probably the bigger producer in organic in Italy as Lega Coop. And our environmental positioning in those years was that cooperatives were promoting sustainable farming, anticipating laws, even European laws, because we were following consumer preferences. Our consumer cooperatives were asking us things that sometimes were complicated, sometimes somebody was not convinced, but probably they were right, because we could anticipate investment in this. Now we are passing through these challenges that you know very well, because in these 3 days we talked a lot about this. Apart from the pandemic, climate change, digital revolution, generational renewal, and financial crisis were the point we had to address, and the point we still have to address, particularly generational renewal, which is a worldwide problem in agriculture, but it is very specific for us too, because the average farmer age is more than 60. So these, well, you know, in Italy we live very long, probably due to the Mediterranean diet, which is one of our points. We don't like to eat lunch. We do the Mediterranean life because you tend to live around 100 years, so it's quite good. And cooperative resilience factor were long-term orientation, diversification, strong member loyalty, a deep territorial root. You have to keep this together. In my cooperative, our cooperative group is exporting 50% of the production, but our roots are deeply in Italian territory. You can do both things. Complicated, but you can do it. This brought the organization to change. So we have primary cooperative, but also second degrees cooperative, the consortia that are addressing the multi-sectorial challenges. Regional and provincial level that are working on training, legal assistance, advocacy. And the national level, Lega Coop Agroalimentare, working on sectorial strategy, EU relationship and representation. The numbers were already in the previous slide. So the point is still this. It was at the end of the 20th century, still is this. Fair remuneration for our members. because the challenge is on volatile prices, rising cost, retailer power, so the farm income tend to squeeze. And so we put together some innovative practices, sophisticated pricing, studies on cost of production, minimum acceptable prices, income diversification, agritourism, organic, ecosystem, service payments, beyond product payments, patronage funds, collective purchase and technical assistance, and transparency, which is very, very important. Remember, in our story, we have several studies I don't have the time to mention, but receive higher and more stable incomes versus non-members. And this is extremely clear because we have many people asking to become member, and this is the clearer proof. Sustainability in the 3 dimensions, you know very well how it's done, sustainability, the challenge is always to go beyond the pure environmental one and consider taking always in consideration social and economic sustainability when working. So what we do, precision farming and innovation, making advanced technology accessible. I think this is a paramount slide because the point is that with these fragmented producers and this fragmented farm situation in Italy, you cannot go on with innovation and digitalization if you don't have a cooperative. There is no legal or national policy that arrive to them. It's the cooperative that talk and have lots of members and can bring innovation immediately in a reasonable time and improving the situation for everybody. Otherwise, you don't cope with it simply. So the collective effort now in investment, technical assistance, training and demonstration farms, data management, precision farming is very, very important. Of course, we work on adaptation and mitigation actions. One of our paramount project is this Life ADA. Life is a kind of European project. We are developing this with the bigger insurance in Italy, which is a cooperative one. So we can manage those risks together because insurance company for the climate change are retiring from agricultural sector. So this could be terrible. So we decide to work together and develop a tool in order to manage the risk. And we strongly support the NGTs. This morning was very inspiring for us because it's different from GMOs we opposed. NGTs are another story. They don't go against biodiversity and they're accessible even to research center of our cooperative. It is not a multinational thing, it's scalable. And this is a huge difference. So, and now with the digital transformation, we have to go also into commercial, member services, operation, innovation. And this is a huge challenge, particularly because of digital divide, cybersecurity, and data governance. Data governance, to me, is one of the most important points of democracy and freedom for the next future. Because who owns the data is a central question. And we have to decide if we come to be all submitted to 4 billionaires in America or if we can do something by our own. I'm a big sustainer of the EU effort in this moment to have something from us. The enabling conditioning were a strong legal and policy framework. Began at the Constitution. The Constitution was written in 47 and entered into force in 48 in Italy, exactly after the war, after the burning of cooperatives. So it has a specific article on cooperatives, promoting them and defending them. And regional policies and EU recognition. In the next vision for, the vision for the next agriculture in Europe that was published in February this year, there is a chapter on cooperative and the importance of cooperative. This is absolutely important. And the other enabling condition was financing. We developed our own system because normal banks normally don't understand the idea that cooperative works on an international way, intergenerational way. So we have long term, we have the capital that is moving, we have the member going and entering, so they simply don't understand us. We need our own instrument, and here are four that works normally integrating and providing also patient capital. So these points were the 5 critical success elements we have: a multi-level organization, a continuous innovation, territorial rule, and the framework and financial ecosystem. So success requires enabling ecosystem, not just individual cooperative. Cooperatives are to work together in an enabling situation. Now, the future direction are lead agroecological transition, build circular food system, and achieve carbon neutrality, pioneer new cooperative models, and strengthen intergenerational solidarity. And for doing this, we have to call to action policymakers, cooperative leaders, researchers, and development organizations. Cooperative leaders are to embrace innovation while maintaining values. I absolutely agree. We have a common language between cooperatives, so evident. I don't have the time now to show you this, but simply we have to work on the generation renewal because the situation is very complicated. The way to attract young people is guarantee to them fair revenue and guarantee there is technology. You entering something that is brilliant. And that's all the effort we are doing today. This is a cooperative working in wine that said we will succeed if our children or our children's children will be wine growers and member of our cooperative. And they have a project how to do this, and this also a job on training and innovation in collaboration with research institutes. This is my cooperative. These are 70 young farmers. They are sons of our members, and they are to continue. Probably they are the next generation of the board of direction also. So we decided to do a 2-year job with them, preparing them to all the challenges. And these are some examples of precision farming of what we are doing. This is a fruit and veg cooperatives working on agronomic techniques on soil, irrigation, and you can see the irrigation, which is absolutely necessary in Italy, and all the kind of variety improvement. This is the decision support system they put together. They are already using this by 12 years. Every farmer has this in his hand and can consider every situation in the field. You can see from the root, from the situation of the plant. This is another project. This is a regional one, all in irrigation too. These are these machines that are detecting all the situation, the phenological situation, the thermal sensor, and all this goes to data analysis. This is a kind of precision irrigation. You see the field and you put water only when necessary, leaving the part that don't need water. With this system, we could spare almost 30% of water in this situation. This is another company, another cooperative in Raccolto in Bologna. They are working on precision farming since 20 years. They were one of the first ones to do it. So they are monitoring and checking. This is the feed for the cows in the Parmigiano Reggiano production. So they have to trace everything because the Parmigiano Reggiano is a PDO product. They do variable irrigation with the system I showed you before. So you can see these enormous pivots that are used to minimize the water use and to spread less water that we can. And also they work enormously on organic substance in the soil because this is the point of being productive. And they have all these machines and sensors. And rebalance the organic substance on pedological requirement of the soil. And they use this low soil compaction cultivation. You see also they avoid the normal wheels in order not to compact too much the soil. And with the limited investment, they create productivity, lower fuel consumption, and simplification of the machine fleet with consolidated saving up to 350 euros per hectare, which is enormous. So this is Precision Project Cooperative that is doing precision livestock. This is a project on sorghum in order to substitute corn with sorghum that is more sustainable. You see how many hectares we transformed with this project, how many million square meters of cube meters of water we could save, and the reduction in GHG emission by passing through this. Okay, and this is the system they have on the precision livestock. Finishing with my cooperative very quickly, we divided all the value chain and made a cross-examination with the UN goals. And after that, we arrived to establish our consumer and presenting the digital platform that our farmers are now to use. We started the training yesterday, so the training is going on, and I think this should be a very, very important evolution for our system, the biomethane and everything. So thank you very much for your attention. It has been a real pleasure.
So thank you, Simona, for that interesting case study from Lega Coop from Italy, another important cooperative federation. So we have 10 minutes now for Q&A. So please raise your comments or questions to particular, yeah. Yes, Professor.
This is the same question for both the last two speakers. What's the proportion of hired non-member workers to member workers in both these cooperatives?
Yeah, we'll take one more question. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I have a question for Simona. I was just wondering about the financial system a little bit that you briefly touched on. What was the initial capital and how did you secure the initial funding to begin the, your credit cooperatives, etc.?
So I have a question to the Kudumbashree presentation. It's it has been given, but it is, I would like to know whether you have studied about the indebtedness of the Kudumbashree members. Anything on that line? Because we have some observations, that is why. And nearly 50% of them are spending their entire income that they are earning for covering their debt per month. It's what we have.
I've got a query to Kishore Kumar. No, we always talk about lack of labor and high wage rate in Kerala. I mean, for enhancing the agricultural efficiency in our state, as part of your, this diversification, in the agricultural field, how you are going to intervene?
Maybe the speakers can respond to this.
Yes, just some quick answers. As to workers, in Italy, agricultural cooperatives are made of farmers, which are normally private company, family farmers. So normally, the people working in the cooperative is normally the people in administration and so on, but it's very few, because the point is that our members are farmers, not laborers, apart from labor cooperatives that I told you. And there, the level of non-members is very low because is used only for periodic yields. For example, fruit and veg, you have a seasonality, so you need more people in that period. Otherwise, there are only cooperative members working in the cooperative during all the year. And And this is basically our system. On the financial point, I used to work for one of the four there for 30 years. And you know, it's complicated to answer because the cooperative banks, as cooperative banks, were born in Trentino region, which is a very high mountain region where the Catholic priest started this with very few capital, absolutely, with putting together all the community, not only workers, or putting together an entire community in these small communities on the mountain. So that was a kind of example of the Raiffeisen banks in Austria and Germany. So it began at the end of the 20th century going on. Probably beginning it now would be impossible because of the bank rules we have, but they grown up. For example, the Fin4Coop that previously was called CCFS is another story because that was an old company, an old cooperative begun in 1904, but to do public jobs, a railway, and they built a railway and they exercised it for 70 years. Then after 70 years, the municipality decided they will bought the railway. So the cooperative find itself with some money they received from this selling and nothing to do. So the cooperative movement decided that this money should be used in the interest of everyone, transforming this in a guarantee center, the Confide, we call it in Italy.
Can you conclude that?
Yeah. And transforming this, they could empower cooperative to go to the banks and help them providing guarantees. Then it evolved in a kind of bank itself, and now is providing all the services you see. One more thing, COP fund comes from a law. This should be interesting in Kerala too, because the government decided to do a law with where the 3% of the annual income, the last row in the sheet you have, was going, 3% of that is going to that fund that is dedicated to new cooperative or enhancing existing one. So this comes from every cooperative putting together this money.
Yeah, so next, Kishore, to say something? We'll quickly.
Yes, the first question, non-member and member regarding. Actually, in our system, there are 4 classes. A class, they have voting right. B class, that government and other organizations. C class, workers, and D class is also depositor. We can take deposit from the public. So A class means they have voting right. They'll get dividend, voting right and dividend. C class, they don't have the voting right and dividend. Bonus and other, all the things, they'll get it. D class is, that is depositor. So we have the last March, we have 17,182 members. That A class, B class very minimum because government and other organizations, cooperative movements, and C class, total 17,182. Now it's 18,000 now. And second question regarding that, your question, sir. Actually, we made a presentation to the Ministry of Cooperation, Government of India in 2023. Ganesh Kumar sir was the secretary at that time. So we presented 3 concepts. One is the Uber-like taxi, Uber, Ola, and now government is taken up and it's called Saha Taxi. Actually, the idea created by ULCCs and we are the consultant for that project. Second thing regarding that seed to market, we call that concept is seed to market. So we can track from seed to the final destination of the market, and it's logistics and everything, value chain, everything we can track. So actually we made that concept. So I think suppose we get some fund from the government, union government, so definitely we'll go for that. Thank you.
Thank you. So anything you want? Is there any question?
Thank you. Very, very useful question, but I don't know whether I can answer that correctly because we completely ignored that SHGs which are only dealing with the microcredit. We have gone to that SHGs where some agricultural activities are being taken place. We found that around 30% of the SHGs had indebtedness, but most of the came from consumption activities, and less, if I'm not remembering exact number, but 12 to 20% was mainly due to their activities. But they are not making a lot of money. They are surviving and then just getting sufficient money to us, daily wages around that particular. They are not making huge amount of money. Thank you.
Thank you. So, very interesting session. So, diverse topic, MSP, Kudumbasri, and two interesting cooperatives, one Uralingal from Kerala and Laga Coop from Italy. So, diverse topic, but they are connected in various ways, and there are important lessons to be learned from each other. So, thank you so much. I hope all of us enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you.